With just 5 games left in the 14-game tournament, the stakes are high this weekend as Harvard tries to maintain pace near the top of the Ivy League standings. Tonight from Levites Pavilion in Cambridge, the Crimson welcome in the Cornell Big Red. And welcome courtside alongside John Avino. I'm Nick Cope. Glad you could join us tonight on the Ivy League Digital Network. Harvard is now on a 3-game win streak, and last night it was a rout as they faced Columbia.
The Columbia Lions came in here struggling in the Ivy League so far this season, and they continued to struggle last night. Harvard had a wide variety of three-pointers falling for them. The first quarter for both teams was high scoring, 25-20 Harvard led, but after that, it was all Harvard. 59-34 they outscored them quarters 2 through 4. As I said, the three-pointers were falling all night, and on the other side, they got it done defensively as well.
4 players finished in double figures for the Crimson, and the 30-point victory was their largest margin of victory on the year, and they sweep the season series of Columbia. The UPS Logistics head-to-head matchup. These teams pretty even statistically, and talking more about Cornell, they have a very tight rotation, 7-8 players, and they're pretty young too, just 1 senior on the roster.
Yeah, they're not a lot of experience, so they're going to come out here today and try and do the same thing they normally do, stick to that rotation, see if they can't pick up a win against this Crimson team. As you said, numbers very similar. They do shoot a little bit better percentage-wise, but yeah, nothing crazy on the number-wise.
Our players to watch for Cornell, Nia Marshall is the top scorer in the Ivy League, leading the way for the Big Red.
17.4 points per game this year for this Cornell team. She was a 2015 first-team All-Ivy selection. And for the Crimson, it's Kit McTwire. She had a big game last night in the win against Columbia. She also scored a career-high 26 points the last time they played this Cornell team. So she had a big night then, too, and she'll be looking to have more success against this Big Red team here tonight.
Oh, for more on tonight's matchup, let's check up with the third member of our crew, Erica Lanty, who caught up with the head coach of the Crimson, Kathy Delaney-Smith.
And we're here with Coach Smith here before Harvard and Cornell set to go as they wrap up the regular season. Coach, first and foremost, part of the weekend for Play for K and this great event that's across the country. What does being a part of this event mean to you?
Well, it's, you know, in our sport, in the WBCA, Kay Yao was a pioneer, was an icon, was a hero, was a role model. So anything we can do to remember her as such is near and dear to my heart. I'm a breast cancer survivor as well, so anybody that, you know, puts on the pink night and people that come and donate money, you know, we're going to get that much closer to finding the cure for breast cancer, which would be great.
It's an event now 10 years running, really an incredible thing. On the court now, a tough game up at Cornell, a game that went to overtime. What did you learn that you can take out of that game into this one tonight?
Well, you know, you can do all the scouts, and everybody's different in real life than in film. So that's what we learned from that game. Dana's one of the best coaches in the Ivy League, and so, you know, I'm not going to out-coach her. You know, it's going to be a battle, you know, with strategies and defenses and counter plays, and so, you know, that's what I know always about Cornell. So we're just, we pay a little bit more attention to what we do rather than what they do. And because our team is young and we're hoping to get better each and every night, I think we're a different team right now, hopefully a little smarter. Probably they are too, so we'll see. It'll be a battle.
Coach, really appreciate it. Best of luck today.
All right, thanks.
That's the report with Coach. Back in a moment here on the Ivy League Digital Network.
And set to tip off here inside Levites Pavilion. Starting lineup for Cornell will be something they've done in all but one game this year. It's Maddie Campbell along with Carrie Moran, Nia Marshall, Nicole Aston, and Megan LeDuc. And for Harvard on the other side, they'll have the same lineup they had last night. Shilpa Tumala with Kit McTwire, Madeline Raster, Anne-Marie Healy. and Sydney Skinner. Harvard coming in on a 3-game win streak. Cornell, meanwhile, last night, they lost against Dartmouth 60-52. They had a really poor shooting night, shooting just 35%. So Harvard's third in the Ivy League, Cornell fourth. As we're underway, the Big Red in white. Harvard wearing black tonight at home as we are underway. Down low, this is Nia Marshall. And swung around now for Carrie Moran. Maddie Campbell, hands off, and the jumper, no good off the back of the iron from Nicole Aston, but the putback underneath from Maddie Campbell, the lone senior on this team, captain, and a UC Santa Barbara transfer.
Nice job on the offensive boards there, grabbing an early one and going back up. Early points for Maddie Campbell.
Well, Harvard's won their last 3, last night against Columbia, and then the road swing last weekend against Brown and Yale. Skinner inside, can't get the shot to fall. Cornell off to their best start in Ivy League play since they won the Ivy League way back in the 2007-2008 season. Last couple of years they have finished 5th, 3 straight in fact. Aston back out, 5 to shoot, jumper taken by Marshall, and out of bounds it will go to Harvard.
Nick, coming into this game, or coming into this weekend, I should say, these two teams tied for 3rd place in the Ivy League standings. Of course, Cornell losing last night, Harvard winning. So for the time being, Harvard moves ahead of them with 2 weekends to play in the regular season.
Here's Shilpa Tumala. Now a breakout season, averaging 12 points and 6 rebounds after she was at about 6-3 a year ago. Skinner takes the 3, too strong. Rebound tipped by Raster, and it's kept in nicely by Megan Leduc. Tri-captain for Cornell. Says Campbell inside. Has to get it back out. Harvard wanted a double dribble called and would not get it. 2-0 Big Red lead. We played 2 minutes. Inside, the foul will go against Healy as she reached over the back of Marshall.
Emery Healy was in foul trouble last night for the Crimson. Had 2 fouls early, had to sit out some time in the first half. Picked up an early one in the second half as well. Hopefully she can stay out of foul trouble tonight for her sake.
Loose ball foul will go against Cornell's Carrie Moran.
Cornell foul number 22, Carrie Moran, her first, team's first.
And it was never a great inbounds pass at the start. And then Raster was fouled. Harvard currently at 6-3 in the Ivy League. Working against them though is they've played 1 game more than each of Penn and Princeton. Currently sit at the top as Healy knocks down the jumper. She got into double figures last night. It was close. She almost had a streak of scoring in double figures in every game this season broken, but came off the bench late and ended up with 12 points against the Lions.
As I said, she was in foul trouble. They didn't really need her down the stretch. As a steal scrum for the ball here on the floor. They didn't need her much down the stretch. So she was able to sit, but did come back in and get that streak.
Tumala holding. Turnaround jumper. And long rebound is corralled by Leduc. Leduc will hold up. Campbell looks to drive, lost the handle. Back out for Marshall, the leading scorer in the Ivy League at 17 points per game. Marshall defended by Healy here and knocks down the jumper. This will be a fun matchup to watch. Marshall, the leading scorer in the league, against Healy, the second leading scorer.
We talked about Nia Marshall in the pregame. Can score at will, 17.5 points per game. But it's going to be a tough matchup today as Matwire nails a 3 on the other end.
Hit Matwire. Last time these teams played, she had a career-high 26 points, and she was 6 of 11 from downtown in that game. That also matched a career high with 3-pointers made.
Matwire, like Shibba Tumala, having a breakout season.
Marshall with inside position and just muscles her way past the help defense of Healy. Already 4 points for Marshall. She's coming off the 22.6 rebound performance against the Big Green last night. Cornell back up by 1, but Tumala, nice feed inside from Skinner, will head to the free throw line.
Nice move there by Tumala. The pump fake to draw the contact. Almost got the basket to go as well. Going up strong as you take another look here. The pump fake, drawing the contact. Almost got it to fall. Could not quite get it, though. She'll go to the line, try and get 2. Foul on Nicole Aston.
And Tumala makes the first. She's the Crimson's best free throw shooter at 82%. Had 14 points last night. She goes 2 for 2. Harvard retakes the lead. Back and forth we go here in the first couple minutes. Crimson lead 7-6. Inside, Aston double team. Back out, Morant. Dumps it off for Aston, and she knocks it down from 18 feet. Now Cornell able to knock down a couple mid-range jumpers here early to keep pace with the Crimson. Sydney Skinner starting now for the 4th straight game as Healy, too strong off the back of the iron. Inside, Tumala able to get the steal. Now she receives the pass back, bouncing it towards Matwire. It was deflected by Cornell, and they'll get it in the corner.
Nice anticipation on the steal by Tumala. Not able to hook up with Matwire on the other end, though.
That was the first turnover of the game for Harvard. Campbell backing down Matwire and fouled going up. So Maddie Campbell will be at the line to shoot free throws for Cornell when we return. An early 8-7 lead for the Big Red on the Ivy League Digital Network.
Crimson fans, purchase pink t-shirts or bounce for bucks.
The Ivy League means extraordinary, a conference that stands alone as the purest form of student athlete, a conference focused to compete nationally and created to inspire globally. It's 8 schools combining Division I athletic excellence and academic prestige, and a community of greatness that inspires lifelong connections and successful leaders of tomorrow. Why not be extraordinary? It's the Ivy League.
At Harvard, we reach out to our opponents with respect. We are modest champions, and we accept defeat with dignity. When a teammate falters, we reach out and pick each other up. Our student athletes reach out to members of our community. At Harvard, we reach towards our goals with diligence and passion.
Welcome back to Levites Pavilion. Harvard taking part in one of the best annual traditions across college basketball with the Play for K that goes around all across women's basketball. Kay Yao, the former head coach at NC State, Basketball Hall of Famer, who tragically passed away from cancer in 2009. Every team in the month of February will wear pink or have participated in this at some point during the month of February. Let's go back to you guys.
Thanks, Eric. In addition to it being the Pink Zone game to support the fight against breast cancer, it is also the 4th annual Pack the House game as well. A little bit of a late arriving crowd at 6 o'clock on a Saturday, but filled in nice and lots of pink in the stands.
Perhaps some people are used to the normal 7 o'clock start time. I was a little confused myself earlier today, but got that all sorted out, Nick, and showed up for the right time.
So Campbell went 2 for 2 at the line, and Harvard turns it over at the other end. Big Red leading by 3. Look at Sydney Skinner, who had a great game last night. 14 points, a career high for her after she had 13 in that comeback win against Yale. 3 ball on the way is good from Megan LeDuc out of Vienna, Virginia. She had 17 points in the team's last meeting, including the three-pointer at the buzzer that sent the game to overtime, which Harvard would win. Matwire short on the other end. Inside Moran, and a double dribble.
Well, both teams looking to get out and run right now. The pace a little bit faster than it was the first couple of minutes of the game. Not quite the shootout last night's first quarter was. Harvard ended up leading that quarter 25-20 over Columbia at the end. Harvard struggling to get their offense going, just 7 points in 6 minutes here.
Yeah, they're 2 of 7 from the floor. Quick pitch out. Here's Skinner. In and out on the three. And the rebound for Campbell. Swung around for Moran. It's a screen from Marshall. Steps into the long two. Harvard looking to push. Skinner, tough shot, can't get it to fall. And the loose ball foul will go against Healy. That's already 2 against her.
Yeah, as I mentioned, she was in a bit of foul trouble last night. Gonna go back to the bench now as Tumala will come back in. 2 fouls here in the first quarter for Healy. Might have to sit her for the foreseeable future, at least till middle of the second quarter. You think about putting her back in, depending on what the score is, but Harvard's offense struggling it right now, and Healy just went to the bench with 4 of 7 of their points.
Harvard setting up in a zone defense. Campbell, bad pass right into the hands of Skinner. Under 3 to play, first quarter. Cornell has scored 7 points in a row. Tamala slows the pace, tries to go behind the back around Marshall, and able to draw the foul.
Yeah, nice reach-in foul there as Tamala just really setting up the offense, and a reach was called. Entire inbounds it here.
First foul against Marshall. Given over here to Kirby Porter, just checked in. Tip by Nunley, back out to Porter, and a new shot clock for Harvard. Skinner has it stripped, and they'll say last touch by the Big Red.
Well, Harvard taking a lot of time on this possession here, a couple of reset clocks here, but imperative for them to try and get some points. They have not scored as you take a look at a replay as it goes off of a Cornell defender. Harvard retains possession. Down here early, the offense has struggled. Let's see if Tamala can get something going here.
Goes behind the back again. Nice move to get some space. Can't get it to fall. Another offensive rebound, though, for the Crimson. We'll have a third crack at it this time down. Turning around is Nunley. Well off the mark. Tumala underneath for the putback.
Great job by
offensive rebounds on that possession.
A great job by the offensive unit of the Crimson there to secure and get the second chance points after multiple offensive rebounds, as you said.
Inside Marshall, quickly swung back around. LeDuc using the screen. Given back out for Marshall. Short. And Cornell's falling cold a little bit. And Matwire slows the pace. Now a transition 3 to Mala.
Well, just like that, a couple of possessions. Crimson fight their way back down to just 1. Tamala with their last 5 points. Crimson still just 4 of 14 from the field thus far.
Can't get the shot to fall. It's a 1-point game now after that 3 by Tumala. She's the 4th best shooter from downtown in the Ivy League and just misses another. Inside a minute to play in this opening quarter. Marshall at the free throw line. Cornell's now missed its last 4 shots from the field. Porter, jab step. got it knocked away from behind. Get some substitutions coming in. Nani Redford, Madeline Raster for Harvard. Cornell makes a few subs, among them Caroline Shellquist. Also have Christine Eland, as well as Marisa Knox. Redford thought about the three. Now Raster uses the screen. She's got 3 to shoot, and the pass was deflected by Shellquist. Looked like to hesitate a little bit there. Didn't quite know what she wanted to do.
Yeah, good job by the Cornell defense. Good possession there when Harvard was trying to run down the clock as much as possible. Now they can hold for the last shot on the other end.
5 on the clock now. LeDuc gives it back for Aston. Won't fall. Rebound, and the horn sounds. So after a 7-0 run from Cornell, Harvard closes the quarter on a 5-0 run at the end of one. It's Cornell 13, Harvard 12, as you're watching Ivy League women's basketball on the Ivy League Digital Network.
Okay, everyone, bring it in. If we want to win, we need to review the playbook. Your financial planning playbook, that is. Did you know you can score a win-win with a charitable gift annuity to benefit Harvard Medical School? It's simple. You make a gift to HMS and in return receive fixed income for life. When the CGA ends, the remainder supports HMS in your area of interest. Try our free online gift calculator to see how a CGA can give you a win-win.
You know what? I'll just walk.
Just the guys that you get to meet, the opportunities that you have, meeting the kids on your team and meeting the faculty and the alumni that come back and support your team. Is just being a part of a tradition that's bigger than yourself.
You could look at it as like a ton of work, or you could look at it as like, I'm going to be a great person when I'm there. I'm going to be a great person when I'm done.
Get a look at Harvard working in transition towards the end of that first quarter, and Tumala knocked down a 3. And Harvard has wanted to push in this first quarter. Cornell's been able to get back for the most part, but a strong finish for the Crimson in that quarter.
Early on, the Cornell Big Red doing a good job defensively. Harvard missing a lot of shots, but at the end of that quarter, they were going on a little bit of a run. Last 5 points scored all by Tumala and the Crimson. She hit that 3 you saw in the replay, as well as a good offensive rebound inside for her.
2 early fouls for Anne-Marie Hilly. And Harvard's had to go into the bench a little bit. Tumala pull up good. Shilpa Tumala feeling it here early on, already with 9 points.
Shilpa Tumala, you mentioned it earlier, really a breakout season here in her senior year, doubling her per game output really in points and rebounds from her junior to senior year. Big reason as a 3 knockdown here on the other end. Tumala, a big reason why this team has had success this year.
Caroline Shellquist with the 3-pointer. She's been the top producing freshman on this team for Cornell that's littered with sophomores and juniors. This is a 2 from Nunley, and the rebound underneath controlled by Elin. Down low, Aston works right around the defense. Wild shot won't go. (16-14) Cornell lead. Cornell has never won inside Levites Pavilion. Jamala off the mark, and the rebound underneath for LeDuc. And Harvard has won the last 16 meetings overall. Another turnover by Cornell, starting to pile up. The other way, Redford lays it in.
Nice job by Nani Redford getting out in front of everybody. Very quick to the hole. Nice lefty Layup there, her first 2 points of the evening.
Freshman guard out of Manhasset, New York, went to Long Island Lutheran, a nationally ranked team when she was there, 4-time state champions. Given back out, a 3-ball on the way is good. Shelquist again for the Big Red. Their lead back up to 3.
Nobody even in the same area code as Caroline Shelquist on that one, an easy 3. Now 2 for 2 on the evening for her from downtown, 6 early points.
That's her shot. Now 119 of her 126 field goal attempts on the season have been from beyond the arc. Offensive rebound looked to be controlled by Nunley, but she had her pocket picked by LeDuc. Nice bounce pass inside. Elin had to swing it back out, rotated all the way back for LeDuc.
That shot didn't fall there, but a good job by Cornell to make the extra passes around the perimeter, find the open shooter.
Raster has an answer at the other end, and we're knotted at 19.
Speaking of open shooters, Madeline Raster open downtown on the other end for the Crimson, ties this one back up at 19.
Raster, the Ivy League Rookie of the Week. Had a great game against Brown last Friday.
Was really one of the only players last night who did not get going for Harvard. She did have 8 rebounds, only 3 points though in the win.
The traveling called against Christine Elin. Cornell will rotate 3 new players on. Campbell back in along with Moran and Marshall. Harvard gives Destiny Nunley a breather as we see Taylor Finley into the game, as well as Kelsey Bogdan. Players like Finley and Bogdan have gotten more minutes as the season's gone along, and there's traveling there by Nunley. So back and forth we go. Played almost 4 minutes here in the second. Cornell led by as many as 6. But Harvard has closed the gap. Breakdown defensively, but Marshall can't finish.
It's a rare miss by Nia Marshall. You don't see that very often. Ivy League top scorer missing a wide open layup. Maybe had too much room down there.
Nunley, the hard drive. Cornell trying to get Nia Marshall going. She's been held to just 4 points, and those came early on in the ball game. They get Marshall inside, and she's able to rotate around Raster. And you see what Cornell's doing inside, using screens to get mismatches. No way Harvard wants Raster to be defending Marshall.
Absolutely. When Marshall was out of the game, focusing a lot on trying to get open shooters from downtown. Now that she's come back in, however, definitely trying to free her up down low. The last 2 times down, they've given her the ball.
Redford for 3. It's good. Harvard now 4 of 9 from beyond the arc.
Nice pass out of the paint by Destiny Nunley, finding Redford open in the corner. Redford will knock that down all day.
And Cornell turns it over at the other end. Oh, the Crimson have retaken the lead for the first time since the game's early moments. They lead 22-21 thanks to this 3-ball from Nani Redford. You're watching Ivy League Women's Basketball on the Ivy League Digital Network.
The Harvard cheer and dance teams will be tossing shirts and railing towels to the loudest.
Something good is gonna happen. I can feel it in the air. I can feel it everywhere. And there ain't no doubt it's coming around tonight. Something good is gonna
Lots going on with Harvard athletics today. Men's basketball team is in Ithaca, trailing Cornell at the moment. Men's ice hockey set to take on Colgate next door in just a little bit. Big win for lacrosse earlier today at home against Villanova.
I was actually at the game today with Eric Galanti. Very thrilling win for Harvard in their home opener. Looking to have a big season this year. A lot of storylines. Won 13-12 today in OT against the tough Villanova team.
So Harvard looking to add to their lead, but they turn it over. Here come Cornell in transition. Pull-up jumper at the elbow from Campbell, and she knocks it down.
Maddie Campbell joining a couple other players at 6 points for Cornell. It's been pretty evenly scored for them. They have slowed down from the field after starting 5 of 7, however.
Underneath, Skinner to Finley. She's got the jumper.
Great find by Sydney Skinner there, penetrating and turning to find Taylor Finley at the elbow.
Marshall good on the jumper. Cornell looking to pick up the pace here. Harvard shooting just 37% from the floor. But the three ball's been able to keep this game close for them. They're at 44% from beyond the arc. Double dribble and another turnover against the Crimson. They're up to 6. Matuire returns for Bogdan.
Checks in for the Crimson, replacing Kelsey Bogdan.
Cornell started 5 of 7 from the floor. They're now 5 of their last 14. They've also had a tough time taking care of the basketball. 8 turnovers now, but wide open for 3 in the corner is Shellquist. That's already her 3rd of the game. She's got 9.
Well, they have hit their last 3 shots. Talked about how they got out to a hot start, kind of cooled down. 3 for their last 3 now.
Lead back to 4. Another turnover for the Crimson, an offensive foul against Tumala. So 2 fouls against her. And they'll get Tumala out of the game with 3:22 to play before halftime. That was the first foul of this second quarter as well. Not a lot of fouls called, but for Harvard, a bit concerning with the players who they've been whistled for. Tumala and Healy, their 2 best players, each with a pair of fouls. This is Knox feeding over for Shellquist. Now Moran, defended by Redford, able to get a step.
Not an easy take right there by Carrie Moran. Trying to get a step on Redford, and good job finishing with the left hand.
Skinner steps into the 3 and hits.
Sydney Skinner!
First points of the game for Sydney Skinner, and she's been a much improved shooter over the last few weeks.
Sydney Skinner definitely developing into a very productive player for this Harvard team. Knocks down a big 3 right there to stop the bleeding and cut the lead back down to 3 for the time being, at least, until the layup on the other end.
Tough shot there from Knox. 32-27 the score. Both teams not wasting much time when they get into the half court. Mismatch with Marshall on Redford. Marshall, and she got fouled from behind. Just be the second team foul against Harvard. The baseline out for Cornell.
Only to take another look here. Tripped up. Nia Marshall doesn't quite make it to the ground, but you see the trip there, and she'll go to the line. She will not go to the line, it looks like. It'll be.
Yeah, they won't give her the continuation.
Probably the right call. Didn't look like it was a continuation.
Knocks off the inbound. Marshall traveled.
Too many steps, Harvard basketball.
Oh, a good job by Nia Marshall to grab that offensive board there. Could not keep her feet from both moving, though, before making the pass, so an easy travel violation called. Harvard will come back down the other end now, down 5, and try to get something going.
Finley trying to go up and under, but a foul coming before the shot. Will go against Campbell.
Campbell, her first, team's first.
Matwire right off the inbound. It's Nunley laying it in. Her first points of the night.
Cornell not wasting any time, going right back down the floor, trying to set up their offense as quick as possible. It's worked so far today for them.
Moran was cornered underneath. Marshall steps in, won't fall. Redford got hit on the arm. They'll say last touch by the Crimson. Well, Cornell, they've rotated 8 players in this first half. It's kind of where they operate this season. And they're a well-conditioned team. A lot of players have been out there for 10 to 12 minutes of this first half.
We talked about it on the pregame a little bit. That's what they like to do. They're not going to do anything crazy. Very young team. And as you said, very well conditioned to obviously play a lot of minutes.
Just one senior on the roster. They do have 4 juniors who do start, and promising next season for Cornell as well with those players coming back. Here's Finley for 3. Marshall the rebound underneath. So we got a minute left in this first half. Cornell leading by 3. And timeout taken by head coach Dana Smith, a use it or lose it situation. So it'll just be a 30-second timeout as Cornell will draw up the play here, trying to extend their lead. They've led by as much as 6 and really balanced scoring from the Big Red. They've been able to knock down the jump shots. They have the 3-pointers from Shellquist, and the mid-range jumpers are falling for their forwards as well.
Yeah, Nia Marshall's been getting it going, and they've gotten good looks inside the arc, as you said. A lot of elbow jumpers able to fall for them. All things considered for the Crimson, though, not the worst case. Their 2 best players, arguably, on the bench for a good portion of this first half in foul trouble, as Anne-Marie Healy has not played since middle of the first quarter. Shilpa Tumala picked up her 2nd foul earlier in this quarter, so both of them have been on the bench for a good portion of this half, yet they only find themselves down 3. So that's got to be pretty encouraging for them as they close out this final minute of the first period, first half.
Aston back in the game for Cornell. 8 to shoot for the Big Red. Moran pulled up, and now LeDuc. And Finley has the rebound. About an 8-second differential between shot and game clock.
It looked like originally Skinner was thinking about trying to go 2 for 1.
Matwire for 3.
Probably for the better that she didn't, though. They ended up getting Kip Matwire wide open for a 3 she's able to knock down. If Skinner had pulled a 3 there, would have been kind of an errant shot, so a good job to wait.
Moran pulls up, no. Finley with it. 3 seconds for Harvard. Ball tipped. Skinner pulls up at the buzzer. No. And we head to the locker room all knotted up at 32. A fun first half.
Absolutely. Scoring both ways. A lot of runs in both directions. Some scoring in bunches, really. It's been a good first half, and both teams went on a couple of runs. So, see, it should be a fun second half.
Second half coming up when we come back on the Ivy League Digital Network.
These are your Harvard University top 5 plays of the week. At number 5, men's volleyball, and an all-around effort from Brandon Clemens, recovering the ball off a bad dig near the Crimson's bench and giving Harvard time to set up another play. After St. Francis was unable to tally the point, Marco Kostic set the ball for Clemens and he hammered down the kill. Harvard went on to sweep number 15 St. Francis in 3 sets. At number 4, men's ice hockey. Ryan Donato scored in each period Saturday to help the Crimson top Union 4-1. It was the rookie's first career hat trick and gave him 10 goals in his freshman season. The Crimson will host Cornell and Colgate this weekend. A win on Friday over the Big Red would clinch the Ivy League title. At number 3, men's basketball. Against Brown on Friday night, Corey Johnson drove the left baseline and threaded a backhanded pass between 2 defenders to Chris Heggie. Heggie finished with a 2-handed slam that brought the Levites Pavilion crowd to its feet. The dunk pulled Harvard to within 1 point en route to a come-from-behind victory, the program's 13th straight win versus Brown. At number 2, women's ice hockey. Already on the penalty kill, Sydney Daniels stole the puck in the defensive zone and carried it up the ice before firing a laser into the right side netting to extend Harvard's lead over Union to 3-0. The shorthanded goal was unassisted, and Daniels tallied her 4th 2-goal outing in the past 7 games. Harvard went on to finish off its 7th shutout of the year. Finally, at number 1, women's basketball. Over the final 2 minutes of the second quarter, Sydney Skinner scored 8 points to lead the Crimson on a 14-0 run that brought Harvard within 9 at the break after trailing by 23 points. The Crimson would complete the comeback over rival Yale, tying the NCAA record for the 4th largest deficit overcome. That's it for this week's Top 5 Plays. Be sure to check out the Ivy League Digital Network for more live and on-demand content.
The Ivy League means extraordinary, a conference that stands alone as the purest form of student athlete, a conference focused to compete nationally and created to inspire globally. It's 8 schools combining Division I athletic excellence and academic prestige, and a community of greatness that inspires lifelong connections and successful leaders of tomorrow. Why not be extraordinary? It's the Ivy League.
If you want the best combination of academics and athletics, Ivy League's your only choice. Only choice.
Since participating in college sports can provide invaluable lifelong lessons, Harvard's coaches emphasize the development of leadership skills and character qualities as fundamental goals for student athletes.
I always say I'm looking for people who are going to be leaders in the pool, leaders in the classroom, and leaders in the community. I think all 3 of those traits are a very important part of being a Harvard student.
When recruiting prospective student athletes, Harvard's coaches look for a diversity of personal attributes.
Character's a big thing for me, where they come from, the experiences they've had, how they relate to people, their upbringing. Everyone's got a little different story, especially in today's world, but I don't think that we have to draw people from all over the place that are alike. I think each kid brings something different to the table.
While captains are the elected leaders, coaches seek to involve the entire roster in helping the team identify and reach its goals.
We only have 1 captain in Harvard football. That's a tradition. But the bottom line is that we let every kid know that you don't have to be a captain to be a leader.
Since many of Harvard's student athletes were captains of their high school varsities, team leadership runs deep.
Well, that is the nice thing, is that everybody has been a leader if they've gotten here. And the way we primarily use it is our entire senior class is basically looked at as captains. We have our official 2 captains, but all of our seniors really embrace the roles and the experience that they've had to get to that point.
Harvard's coaches urge all of their team's members to take an active leadership role.
It's really important for each member of our team to sort of seize leadership opportunities when you can make a difference in your teammates' lives.
Even in primarily individual sports, Harvard's athletes are encouraged to take responsibility for helping achieve team success.
But everyone's a leader on our team in some aspect. In fact, we push people into leadership positions. Everyone has a role, and all the roles are very important.
When it comes to leadership on Harvard's squads, underclassmen have as much input as upperclassmen.
We had a team meeting last night, and you couldn't tell who the senior captains are in that meeting. You have freshmen having a strong opinion and voicing it, and it's really impactful for the whole group that everybody's pushing the group forward.
At Harvard, coaches begin nurturing their team's future leaders as soon as the newcomers arrive on campus.
What we try to do is train leadership from the day they get here. So we're doing this freshman year, sophomore, junior, senior leadership. Each class has something to do with leadership, and they're learning it as they go.
Harvard's coaches eagerly solicit and implement suggestions from everyone on their teams.
My captains and many of the team members are encouraged to come to me and offer new things. And if it works, we implement them right away.
As part of developing leadership qualities, Harvard's coaches motivate athletes to function on their own.
There isn't a lot of hand-holding here, and I like that. One of the most important experiences of going to college is growing up.
Learning how to deal with victory and defeat in athletics is a valuable tool in developing character traits like resilience and persistence.
Harvard is a place that obviously celebrates excellence. But with excellence also comes risk-taking. It means sometimes things didn't work out the way you had hoped they had, and then you have to come back from that. I think our athletic department, and in particular our athletes, demonstrate that on a day-to-day basis. That, you know, when you win, you do it with pride, but you also do it with a sense of humility. And that, for example, when you lose, one of the most important things you do is you step back, get those emotions done with, understand what happened, and then come back the next day and start all over again.
Much as they are in the classroom, Harvard's athletes are challenged to learn about themselves by performing in a demanding environment.
We take a very Socratic approach. We use a game-oriented approach, so we put them in games where they have to solve problems and empower them. It's okay to make mistakes. That's one of the things that the kids here have to become more comfortable with.
By devoting themselves to daily responsibilities as members of a team, Harvard's athletes discover the rewards of deep commitment.
You learn about what it means to really dig deep and have 2 feet in. That's one of the coaches mentioned to me. Instead of dipping your toe in the pool, going all in, and going all in for something larger than yourself.
By emphasizing the development of leadership and character, Harvard's coaches seek to impart principles that go beyond athletics.
Hey guys, it's not just about you as an individual. There's a world out there, there's a country here, there's a state here, there's a group of people that you could help out. Then they start to think that's pretty exciting, and they might actually do it. That's a lot of fun.
Energy level is great. It's always fun, after a long winter of not only not playing lacrosse with each other, but just being away from each other. It's fun to kind of pick up where we left off in the fall, kind of just get the chemistry back, get out here, dust off the sticks and kind of just condition, get back into shape, but you're doing it with like your 42 best friends who you haven't seen in a while. So energy is great on day one. I think one thing that the coaches are preaching are just day 2, day 3, day 4, keeping the energy high.
Obviously our last season, and so I think with that comes a sense of urgency, a desire to win, first of all, and second of all, to leave a positive impression on this program. That's meant a lot to us for a pretty good amount of time. So just kind of instilling that in the younger guys, kind of leading the way in terms of bringing the energy out here and just that sense of urgency in the weight room, on campus, just in general. We've definitely got a number of veterans, but at the same time, I think we've got big contributors from every class. We've got freshmen that we expect to play big roles, sophomores, juniors as well. So I think while we are a veteran-laden team, I think it still takes some time for everybody to get used to playing together, and we need contributions from every class.
I think it's great just from a program standpoint to get guys like Bobby Dubniak, Walker Kirby, Sean Mann, Will Walker, all these guys to kind of get freshmen and sophomores under their wings, take the things that the coaches are telling us, the values they're trying to instill and the culture they're trying to establish, and kind of just like instilling it in the freshmen, so it's just a legacy that kind of leads on rather than, just starting from a square one every year. We feel like we're a really talented team, but as we've seen in years past, I think that what we do in the next 3 weeks is as important to get to where we want to go, hopefully in the Ivy League and in May, as what we do throughout the season.
I think it's going to be an exciting group to watch. We got a lot of great athletes at every position. We're looking to play up and down. We've got kind of a new style of play with our new coaches coming in. So I think just an up and down style, fast style of play, definitely be exciting to see.
It's really special being a Harvard student athlete because we're definitely students first and we're getting the same education that every other student is getting here with no added perks or anything. And then we're also putting in a lot of extra time every day, and I think that really kind of is hard at sometimes, but it's also amazing. I love it so much, and I think that being a student athlete at Harvard really kind of shows me how much I can do, and I'm kind of getting the best of both worlds in this situation because I'm allowed to get this amazing, awesome education, at the same time meeting these awesome people and playing the sport that I love.
I thought it was going to be extremely difficult, nearly impossible, because I had just heard incredible things about Harvard academics, and that's all you really think about is how difficult Harvard will be academically. So I thought that it was going to be that much harder being a student athlete. But what surprised me was that it made it a lot easier because it allowed me to kind of have an organized structure, but it also allowed me to have a support network so that when times got stressful with academics, I always had my team and my coaches to fall back on. I think being surrounded by students that are so incredible at what they do, whether it's music or art or whatever it is, has been incredibly important to me because I think it would be easy to just put yourself in the athletic community and stay there. So what Harvard does that's great is it sort of forces you to interact with people that are very different from you. And I think that is unparalleled at other universities.
Well, I think that Harvard has really taught me how to learn and how to make the best of situations. I think that's the benefit of being in a liberal arts college, is you're allowed to kind of take things you're actually truly interested in. And so maybe it's not directly applicable to my next job, but I do think that I'm more well-rounded as a person, and I know how to kind of make the best out of situations, and I know how to make something work.
I'm just so proud to see how the girls have matured over the past 4 years. Just looking at my fellow seniors, Kathleen, Sindhu, and Hannah, they have just become such incredible leaders and such big motivators, and have motivated me, but also I see how they motivate our underclassmen. And it's really just so special to create that legacy of leaders.
That's definitely the most important thing I've gotten from this experience is my friendships, and they're not just friendships in college, they're definitely going to last way throughout that. We've already made plans to meet every year in some spot around the globe and kind of have a Harvard volleyball reunion, so I think that's something that's so special, and I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to remain close, if not closer, and throughout the rest of our lives.
And welcome back inside Levites. Nick Cope with John Avino. First half, we're tied at 32. Numbers are pretty even, as that should indicate. But for Harvard, big thing is really they've had their two best players in a little bit of foul trouble, still able to keep this game tight.
Emery Healy didn't play after 7 minutes into that first quarter. She sat the entire rest of the first half, so 2 early fouls for her. Yesterday, same kind of thing for her. She picked up that third fairly early in the second half, so she's going to have to stay out of foul trouble some more. And Shilpa Tumala was the other one. She played 13 minutes in that first half, but didn't play a lot at the last 5 or 6 minutes. Obviously, foul trouble is going to be key, especially for these two players. They didn't get whistled for a lot of fouls in that first half. It just so happens that Tumala and Healy each picked up 2.
Let's take a look at the highlights from that first half. And for Harvard, they didn't shoot well to start, didn't finish shooting all that well. They got up to 40%. They were down in the 20s, but the three-pointers are what carried them. They were 6 of 14 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, they hit a 6 from downtown, as you said. 5 different players hitting those 6. Kit McGuire, the only one who hit more than 1. So they're getting contributions from several different players. And for Cornell, it was Maddie Campbell doing her 6 points, and 8 points from Nia Marshall, and then 9 from Caroline Shellquist, who hit 3 threes, all 3 of the shots she got up there in the first half. Cornell did start 5 of 7 from the field, and after that, they went 8 of 22 the rest of the way in the first half there. So they're obviously going to look to repeat what they were able to do early on in that first half.
There are the numbers, and Cornell led by as many as 6. Harvard has only had a couple 1-point leads. Things pretty even. Cornell doing a good job on the defensive glass. There's that one possession. Harvard had 3 offensive rebounds. But otherwise, the Big Red have done a good job on the glass. And Cornell had a bit of a problem with turnovers there in the middle part of that second quarter. But even statistics coming in on the year, pretty even through the first half. These teams went to overtime in the first meeting, so not all that surprising as you take a look at the numbers for Shilpa Tumala. And she's been great tonight for Harvard.
And great all season for Harvard as well. 9 points, well on her way to surpassing her season average again, which is right around 12 points a game for the Crimson. We talked about her sitting for the end of that first half, so obviously she needs to stay out of foul trouble here in the second.
Yeah, it looks like we'll see her and Healy out there to start the second half. Set to begin in a couple moments as Dana Smith, head coach of Cornell, breaks the huddle. She's in her 13th season. Winningest coach in Cornell history. Coached them to their only Ivy League title back in the 2007-2008 season. And they had the unenviable task of playing UConn in the first round of that tournament. Underway in the second half here at Levites Pavilion. All knotted up at 32. Cornell looking for its first win ever inside this building. Harvard 33-0 at home against the Big Red. First possession, it's over for Campbell. Her foot is on the line, can't get the jumper to fall. Tumala inside, shot fake. Her shot was blocked by Campbell and saved by Marshall along the baseline. In transition, here comes Cornell. Campbell the layup. She's got 8.
Nice job by Campbell going coast to coast after the block, getting down to the other end to finish on the offensive end as well. Cornell with the first 2 points of the second half here.
Healy along the baseline. No, gets her own rebound and draws the foul.
Emery Healy has scored in double digits in all the games so far this season, all 22. You'll take another look here at the shot, getting her rebound and then getting fouled on the way back up the second time, so she'll go to the line for 2 here. I made a comment in the first half saying that she had 4 points when she went to the bench. She only has 2. It was my mistake. So just her 3rd point there. She makes the first free throw. Can she get to double digits tonight will be one of the themes of the second half here. Obviously, Harvard taking the lead ultimately is more important to her, I'm sure.
Gets us tied back up at 34. Healy, the Ivy League co-player of the week. She had 22 against Brown, 18 against Yale last weekend. Finished with 12 last night against Columbia. Finished in double figures every game this season. Pull up for LeDuc. Raster surveys in transition, finds Metoyer left all alone. Moran able to track the ball down, tipped it to herself. Now LeDuc slows the pace. Hand check foul will go against Skinner.
Skinner not happy with the call. Definitely looked like she reached, only her first foul. Be inbounded just in front of the Cornell bench now by Kerry Moran as you take another look. And there was some contact, but maybe not enough for a call in case of Sydney Skinner.
And that's the kind of contact they've been clamping down on this season. Marshall, tough work inside, can't get it to fall. Goes back up and draws the foul. Let's see who's that against. Healy was there. And we'll go against Skinner, though. That'll be 2 on her.
Oh, that's a big break that it wasn't called on Healy on the way back up. And we just talked about Skinner only getting her first foul, so she'll pick up a quick second. But the last thing you needed if you were the Crimson was for Healy to pick up a quick third, as I had mentioned. She did the same thing last night. Skinner will go to the bench here early on in the second half.
Marshall had a hard-fought 8 points in that first half. Can't get either of those free throws to fall, though. She's a pretty decent shooter at 60% from the line. Raster, the 3 at the other end. No offensive rebound, Redford. Metoyer off the pick and roll to Tumala for 3, no. Raster battling for the offensive rebound. She got it anyway as she was fouled.
A tough board there for Madeline Raster. Great job by her to come down. You can see the shot here by Tumala, quick release. Raster able to come down and grab it, but does get fouled at the very end of that play.
It was LeDuc picking up the foul. Redford, little push off maybe, can't get the jumper. There for another offensive rebound. Raster fakes the 3 along the baseline. Duke inside. Marshall, loose ball controlled by Metoyer.
The Crimson are doing a great job containing Marshall as we get a 3 here on the other end by Madeline Raster.
It's her second of the game, and Harvard has their largest lead of the game.
I was going to say the Crimson doing a great job with Nia Marshall. She's just 4 of 12 from the field. She does have 8 points and 7 rebounds. A lot of that, though, they're making her work for.
37-34. We'll let Aston try down low, and she is successful. 4 points now for Aston, team's second leading scorer. One-point game once again. Metoyer for 3, no. Campbell, baseline drive, lost the handle, and puts it up and in.
Dwyer trying to take the offensive foul there. She took a tumble to the floor, no call though.
Campbell, the first player in double figures. Tumala from 16 feet, got it, and she's got 11.
Shilpa Tumala, it's the one thing this year that she's done that's really added a lot to her game, being able to create her own shots off a step. Does the same thing there just inside the three-point line, around the foul line. There's a foul called here on Tumala.
A little frustrated. She's going to have to come out now with 3, and Nunley will replace her.
She's frustrated probably because she took the fall. She was the one who ended up going to the ground and also whistled.
Here's a 3 off the mark from Shellquist. That's the first time she missed. Out of bounds. They'll say last touch by Harvard. Miranda inbound. Be a new shot clock. Looks like Raster got a little bit of a cut. Will have to come out.
Raster fell into the front row there, right next to the court. So maybe he got a little banged up. Maybe spilled something, a beverage or something on her. Because there seemed to be wiping off her pant leg on the sidelines.
Well, Porter's in to replace her. Campbell back out, LeDuc for 3. And she hasn't been able to find the stroke, but an offensive rebound from Moran. LeDuc is the team's best three-point shooter. She's just 1 of 4, despite getting some open looks. They go to Aston. Hard drive around Healy. And back-to-back times that Aston has been able to deliver down low.
Not a tough, or not an easy take, I should say, for Nicole Aston there, going up and under with the left hand, finishing nicely.
Redford left alone. Neither team able to hit from downtown at the moment. In transition, Moran. What an acrobatic move. Had the pressure from Kirby Porter coming in, and Moran able to adjust in midair. Cornell leads by 3.
Again, not an easy take. Kirby Porter right behind her, making that shot difficult, but a good job to hang and hit on the drive there by Moran.
Inside, Nunley won't fall. Sat on the back of the iron for a good couple seconds. Four minutes left in the third. Cornell leading by 3. We'll take a break. 3:57 to go in the third. Cornell leading 42-39 after the foul called against Kip Matuire. We'll be back as you're watching Ivy League women's basketball on the Ivy League Digital Network.
Please welcome to the court.
The Ivy League means extraordinary, a conference that stands alone as the purest form of student athlete, a conference focused to compete nationally and created to inspire globally. It's 8 schools combining Division I athletic excellence and academic prestige, and a community of greatness that inspires lifelong connections and successful leaders of tomorrow. Why not be extraordinary? It's the Ivy League.
At Harvard, we reach out to our opponents with respect. We are modest champions, and we accept defeat with dignity. When a teammate falters, we reach out and pick each other up. Our student athletes reach out to members of our community. At Harvard, we reach towards our goals with diligence and passion.
Back at Levites Pavilion, Cornell leads by 3 at the middle of the third quarter. One thing that Cornell is stressing right now on their bench is to step out on the Harvard shooters. Dana Smith has seen so many Harvard shots goes in. She's asking her players to go out farther on defense, and she continues to run plays inside for Nia Marshall and trying to get the ball inside for Cornell and encouraging the defense to take an extra step out.
Marshall hasn't been able to get any points in this second half. Healy short on the jumper. Loose ball controlled by Nunley. Jumper from Healy, in and out. Nunley whiffed on the putback, still able to get the loose ball. Slings it over for Redford. Nunley matched up with Elin and gets it to fall. Nunley now with 4 points. Healy having a tough time getting going for Harvard, though. Just 1 of 5 from the floor. Back to a 1-point game. Largest lead by either team is just 6. Campbell the long 2, no. Say last touch underneath by Elin. And Marshall will return for Cornell. As well, Marisa Knox.
Well, you mentioned Anne-Marie Healy, just 4 points so far, 1 of 5. She had both free throws the one time she's been to the line tonight. Well, she sat on the bench a lot in that first half with foul trouble. Has not picked up the third yet here. We'll see if they start to run some plays for her, try and get her more involved, as we know she's been all year.
McTwire off the screen, knocks down the triple.
There, Anne-Marie Healy setting a nice screen for that 3 to open it up as Kit McTwire knocks down her third 3 of the night. Now with 9 points and 5 boards, also adding 3 assists.
Had that 26-point performance the last time these teams met in Ithaca on January 29th. She hit 6 threes in that game. This will be a foul underneath against the Crimson, and will go against McTwire.
Take a look there. Kit McTwire not happy. You can see her reaction there at the end. Got called for a reach on the way by on the continuation, it looks like.
It's a 15
foul. That's why they're at the line. So was on the floor, but 2 free throws anyway.
Marshall goes 1 of 2. And Cornell will look to press off the inbounds. Harvard leading by a point. Long pass ahead for Porter. Trying to break down the defense. Healy rising up. Been a quiet night so far for Anne-Marie Healy. Just 6 points and a bit of foul trouble.
Cornell's going to run that full court press, though. It's going to open some things up, and Healy was open that time underneath the hoop.
Inside 2 to play in the third. Harvard has matched its largest lead of the game at 3. LeDuc able to draw contact with Skinner, and LeDuc will go to the line. That's 3 now against Sydney Skinner.
Harvard foul, number 25, Sydney Skinner, her third.
Skinner didn't have a foul in the first half, has picked up 3 and limited action here in the third.
Shooting 2.
So LeDuc shooting 2. She's a 74% foul shooter. And she will play a lot of minutes for Cornell. She's played at least 40 minutes in 8 games this season and averages the most minutes per game in the Ivy League. New possession for Cornell. Here's Knox. Hits LeDuc off the screen. Now to Shelquist off the screen, but we've got a whistle. An offensive foul against Cornell.
Oh, a nice call there in favor of the Crimson. As Shelquist buried that long 3 that she took just after the offensive foul that was called. Would have given Cornell the lead back.
Foul goes against Marshall, her second. And a hand check foul the other way against the Big Red.
Cornell foul.
We'll go against LeDuc.
Her second foul, team's fourth.
So that's 2 for Marshall, Aston, and LeDuc for the Big Red. Porter finds Metoyer, marked closely by Knox. Healy, the turnaround, is fouled.
Definitely looked like some contact there. It looked like Healy got hit in the elbow on that jumper.
32, Nicole Aston.
Well, Healy, the shots might not be falling for her, as you see right here again. Just got a little touch, maybe on the face, maybe on that left elbow. Now 3 for 3 on the line with that first hit. Just 2 of 6 from the field, but has hit all 3 of her free throws so far.
Healy averaging 16 points per game on the season and has been great in Ivy League games, 18 points in conference contests. 1 of 2 at the line here. It's still a 3-point Harvard lead. Just 70 seconds remaining in the third. Swatted out by Redford with 17 on the shot clock. Cornell trying to avoid what would be a 4-game losing streak if they lost tonight, and Harvard trying to extend its winning streak to 4 games. Another offensive foul against Cornell. It goes against Marshall inside, and now that's 3 for her. And Cornell is really frustrated at the moment.
Well, Nia Marshall's going to go back to the bench with 3 fouls. Marshall, obviously, we know what she means to this team, both offensively and defensively, as well as on the board. She's not had it from the field tonight, 4 of 12. She does have 9 points. She's grabbed 8 boards, though.
Final minute of the third. 3-ball Metoyer. Knocks the rebound. Harvard's been trying to get that momentum-boosting 3. They haven't gotten it. Shellquist. And that will be a loose ball foul against Nunley. That will put Cornell at the free throw line.
Nunley went over the back there trying to get that rebound. She actually did grab the rebound, but too much over the back there as you see her going up and over Megan LeDuc to grab that one. So LeDuc will go to the line.
Cornell struggling at the line. They're now 4 of 9. They get 4 of 10. Last touch by Harvard, though. Cornell will get another crack.
4 of 10. A lot of that Nia Marshall and Megan LeDuc, who both 1 of 4. Only other player to shoot free throws for the Big Red is Maddie Campbell, who's hit both of hers.
8-second differential between shot and game clock. Elin defended by Healy. Back out for LeDuc. They'll reset. 10 on the 30. LeDuc trying to use the pick and roll. Takes a carom to Campbell. 3 on the clock. Jacked up by LeDuc. No. And Nunley has it underneath the basket. 3 to shoot in the quarter. Porter at the buzzer. No. And the third quarter comes to a close. Harvard outscores Cornell by 15 to 12 in that third quarter. They lead by 3 as we head to the fourth. You're watching Ivy League Women's Hoops on the Ivy League Digital Network.
Okay, everyone, bring it in. If we want to win, we need to review the playbook. Your financial planning playbook, that is. Did you know you can score a win-win with a charitable gift annuity to benefit Harvard?
I can't hear you guys, but I'm here.
It's
sort of something with the earpiece is someone's drumming over and over again. It's just this banging over and over again. I'm here. Cue me, and I'll do the best I can. Tell John to give me a thumbs up if you.
Hold it up higher. It's going in and out.
You know what? I'll just walk.
The mic.
Yeah.
game notes.
For Harvard, or is that
both
good?
of them?
Meeting kids on your team and meeting the faculty, the alumni that come back and support your team. It's just being a part of a tradition that's bigger than yourself.
You could look at it as like a ton of work, or you could look at it as like, I'm going to be a great person when I'm there. I'm going to be a great person when I'm done.
Harvard with a 3-point lead at Levites Pavilion as we start the fourth quarter. In a key Ivy League game as Harvard tries to keep pace with the top of the league. A win today, and Harvard has a 2-game lead on third place in the Ivy League standings. And a key point in the fourth quarter will be Shulpa Tumaya. Sat a lot during that third quarter due to foul trouble. How long will it take her to get back to the flow of the game? She was active cheering on her teammates. Now how active can she be getting back with her shot, guys?
Thanks, Eric. Tamala has been the best player for the Crimson when she's been out there. She's got 11 points, hasn't been out there consistently enough as Redford is called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, Eric made a good point. Tamala sitting most of that third period after picking up another foul, and she did the same thing in the second period after picking up her second foul. So here in the fourth, though, she's got 2 to work with. I imagine she'll be out there for most of this period unless she picks up another quick one.
Teams went to overtime when they first met this year in Ithaca on January 29th. Moran's jumper won't go. Tamala has the rebound, absorbing some contact. Matwire, her pass deflected and controlled by Moran. Marshall had the initial tip. Now Raster takes it away underneath. Healy puts it in. Timely buckets in this second half from Anne-Marie Healy. Knox rejected by Healy. Long pass ahead for Redford. A 2-on-1. Redford lays it in. Timeout, Cornell. So Harvard has its largest lead of the game, 51-44 on the Ivy League Digital Network.
Okay, everyone, bring it in. We want to
I thought it would be good to like zoom in, get some crowd, so I just fade out to it right there.
Did you know you can score a win-win with a charitable gift annuity to
They just didn't sustain the cheering, you know?
I know,
it's
they
not
kind
a
of
big
died
enough.
off.
Yeah, they did. They got right away, but
fixed income for life.
It's because the crowd is not big enough. Big enough, everybody just keeps going, but...
Try our free online gift calculator to see how a CGA can give you a win-win.
You know what? I'll just walk.
Sounds relevant. Thank you.
Meeting kids on your team and meeting the faculty.
You need
the
extra
alumni
time,
that
you
come
can-
back and support your team. It's just being a part of a tradition that's bigger than yourself.
You could look at it as like a ton of work, or you could look at it as like, I'm going to be a great person when I'm there. I'm going to be a great person when I'm done.
The other 3 games going on in the Ivy League. Penn trying to remain undefeated, and they're off to a good start there against Yale. Tight game up in Hanover between the Lions and the Big Green, and Princeton out in front of Brown by 20. And take a look at the Ivy League standings. It's still Penn leading the way, 8-0. Princeton right there. Harvard still has 2 more games against Penn and Princeton, and they're down but not out. But the way those 2 teams are playing, really can't lose the rest of the way to have a shot.
Yeah, they're going to need a lot of help, and they're going to need to win out here. They got Brown and Yale again next weekend. Yale Friday, Brown Saturday, and then unfortunately for them, they get to finish the season off with Princeton and Penn the final weekend of the regular season.
They'll likely have a good idea of their chances by then, as the jumper from Knox is good.
Cornell will flip weekends with Harvard. They will get Brown and Yale the final weekend, Princeton and Penn next weekend as Metoyer launches a three.
And she has fallen cold from beyond the arc. Crimson in general have. They're shooting under 35% from downtown. Down low for Marshall. Had a step onto Mala, can't get the hook shot to fall.
Nia Marshall's been all over the rim today, has had a lot of them rim out. Now 4 of 13. That rim has not been her friend today here at Levites Pavilion.
She has just 1 point in the second half at the free throw line as Raster knocks down the triple.
We talked about that momentum carrying three that they've been waiting for. That looked like it right there for Madeline Raster to give them an 8-point lead.
It's their largest of the game. Cornell can't put together the passes to break down the defense. Off to the races. Raster dumps off to Mala. And Crimson just ran out of real estate and not good spacing there in transition.
Tamala looked unsure of what she wanted to do, was looking to make an extra pass, but settled for a shot. Not very comfortable shooting that one.
Marshall, good drive, and this one falls for her. A frustrating second half, but a great drive down the right side of the lane there for the junior.
And they're gonna need her to get it going down here the stretch to close out this lead and come back and get it back in this one down the stretch here.
Under 7 to play in the fourth. Foul underneath. Go against Cornell. It'll go against Marshall, and now that's 4 against her. I'll have her come out of the game. They were waiting to get her in at the next whistle as Nicole Aston replaces her.
Again, foul trouble for Nia Marshall has been a problem all night.
It's gonna be a foul against Harvard underneath. Metoyer picks up her third.
The frustrating night continues for Nia Marshall. She spent a good portion of this game on the bench.
She's been able to get 11 points. A player that averages 17, that's been a quiet 11 points. Healy will take a breather here. Six-point ball game. Hard drive from Knox. Count it, and the foul. How about Marissa Knox? Sophomore doesn't get a ton of playing time per game, but a couple good buckets here in the fourth.
Well, how about this? Marissa Knox, look at that spin to have that ball go up and in. It took every little piece of that to get the roll that she needed, and it goes home for the N1. And she converts the free throw. Now with 7 points, 5 rebounds today for the guard.
She averages just 2 and 1 per game. Gets about 13 minutes of action per game. She's played in almost every contest. Making the most of it tonight as Cornell forces the turnover. Turnover number 10 against the Crimson. Had just 3 turnovers in the second half. 3-point Harvard lead. Knox looking to drive again. Kicked out, looking for Shellquist. And Metoyer can't believe that she did not get that call. Thought she pulled her hand away at the last second. Officials say otherwise. Cornell basketball.
Oh, this is going to be a tough angle to tell. It did look like there might have been a little bit of a redirection, but nonetheless, the referee calls it off Metoyer and play continues.
Aston, jump stop. Too strong off the glass. Offensive rebound. Campbell in and out. Cornell's had so many chances like that inside that just rim out somehow. Metoyer wide open. No. Nunley can't keep it in along the sideline.
Metoyer has definitely gone cold from the three-point line. She hit 3 of her first 4, has missed all 4 of her attempts since then.
Quick rest for Healy as she returns for Raster. 5.5 to play, 54-51. Campbell, too strong. Inside, Healy gets it to fall, and she's into double figures with 11.
Well, for the 23rd straight game this year, Anne-Marie Healy will get into double digits, all double digits in every single game this year. Very consistent. Obviously, we know what she brings to the table, about 16 points per night, and another great performance tonight from her with 11 points, tied for the team lead.
Senior captain from Edina, Minnesota. She defends LeDuc there. Kick out for Aston, and there's a bucket for Cornell, who couldn't buy one the last couple trips down.
It seems like the momentum definitely has shifted towards the Crimson, but give Cornell credit, hanging around, just down 3 points here, slowly chipping away at what was at most an 8-point lead.
Healy inside again and draws contact. Harvard up by 3, and they'll be at the free throw line when we come back. 4:15 to play in this fourth quarter. Crimson trying to hang on, get the season sweep of Cornell on the Ivy League Digital Network. Upcoming schedule on the Ivy League Digital Network for this Harvard women's basketball team. Close out the home slate next weekend with Yale and Brown before they have a tough road trip to finish things off.
Well, he talked about how it's unlucky for them to have to finish the season on the road against the two top dogs in the Ivy League, but in a way they need to win out anyway to have any chance at capturing the title and catching those two teams. So in a way, they control their own destiny. They have to win. They also need a little bit of help, but obviously wins over Princeton and Penn that last weekend would help them a lot.
Healy's at the line where she's now 4 of 5. Having a great second half. Now 10 points in this second half for the senior. Make it 11. Played just 7 minutes in that first half. Got in foul trouble. Now has broken free in the second half. Picks up her 4th here, though, with Marshall driving hard. Marshall's back in the game with 4 fouls as well.
Well, you need her at this down the stretch here. So despite the fact she has 4 fouls, I'm sure
beg your pardon. She does have 3.
Oh, it looks like they must have changed one of the earlier calls. It looked like she had 3 at one point, but lucky for her, she gets now extra foul to play with.
Marshall's a 60% free throw shooter. Loose ball, Metoyer ran out of room, slid right over the sideline. Seems like every time Cornell misses a second free throw, they get the ball or get the offensive rebound.
Yeah, they've done a good job on the offensive boards tonight. Unfortunately for them, the second chance points have just not backed up what they've been able to do on the offensive glass.
LeDuc open for three. It hits. Oh, LeDuc has struggled from beyond the arc tonight, but that's a big one to pull us within 1 point. 3:40 to go in the fourth. Twire lost the handle, and it's picked up by Marshall. Cornell can retake the lead. Slow up the pace. Get instructions from their head coach, Dana Smith. Knox, LeDuc in the corner. In and out. Healy has it along the baseline. Harvard looks to push. Tumala for three. No. Tipped by Nunley and able to save it to Matwire. Matwire for three. Yes! 4-point Harvard lead.
Oh, all 10 of the shots Kit Matwire has taken in this game have been from downtown. She hit 3 of her first 4 and then missed 5 in a row, but hits that one when Harvard needed it most to put them back up by 4. We take another look here at the save, the pass back inside to Healy, and then they kick it back out to Kit Matwire, who's been hitting those for a long time, and that's her 4th tonight. Now with 12 points.
She had missed 5 threes in a row before that, though. And Cornell takes a full timeout here with under 3 minutes to play. The largest lead for either team has only been 8 points for the Crimson. Cornell has led by as many as 6. We've been back and forth this entire time.
It's been a very, as you said, back and forth game, and it's come in bunches from both sides. Harvard takes a lead and Cornell creeps back in, and it's exactly what's happened here. Harvard got out to that 8-point lead, and Cornell was able to chip down a little bit at it, get back into it. Currently at 4 points. Obviously, a big hit from downtown by Megan LeDuc early on, or 2 possessions ago. Could not hit this last possession for Cornell, which would have been huge, but now they have the ball back down 4, and they will try to make this a 1-possession game here.
Harvard looking for a season best 4-game win streak. Cornell looking to snap a 3-game losing streak, and Marshall underneath. She's got 14 now. 2-point ball game. Healy finds Skinner, who's playing with 3 fouls. Tumala for a 3. It's good! Shilpa Tumala came to play tonight. 14 points for the senior.
Well, Shilpa Tumala tends to do that. This is the season she's been able to close out some games for the Crimson. Definitely been a big part of a lot of their victories, and she gives them the 5-point advantage there with her second 3 of the night. Kicked on the other end. Cornell will retain possession.
64-59 with 2:03. Now there's a foul inside against Harvard. It will go against Nunley, and that's 5 against the Crimson. So this will put Marshall at the free throw line.
Nia Marshall normally hits her free throws at a higher rate than she is tonight after hitting that one just 3 of 7 now.
Yeah, she's at 60% on the year. She now has 16, but it's been a hard-fought 16. Until the last couple minutes, she had only had 1 point. She was sitting at 9 points entering the fourth quarter, had just 1 point in this second half. The leading scorer in the Ivy League has brought Cornell back to within a possession. Tumala open for 3 again. And the rebound from Moran. Knox thrown back out. Fortunate that no Crimson players were in the area. 90 seconds to play. Marshall, step back jumper. Gets her own rebound off the tip inside. And Cornell will use a timeout.
Well, that was the 14th offensive rebound of the night for Cornell. The problem has been they just have 7 second chance points, so not making the most of them, but they will get another possession here.
Let's take a look at how you can follow Harvard women's basketball and Harvard athletics on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can follow Harvard women's basketball at Harvard Hoops. You got game recaps in print and video online almost immediately after games. Do a good job getting those up there pretty quickly on gocrimson.com, and you'll get links to all those on the social media pages as well.
Of course, you can always watch most of these games back on the replay on ILDN, so everything is there at your fingertips, at your disposal.
Big Red down by 3, 80 seconds left. Over to Moran, steps into the long 2, won't fall, and it's tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Skinner, so Cornell will get another shot here on offense.
A miscommunication there between Sydney Skinner and Shilpa Tumala. Both went for the rebound. Should have been an easy board for one of them. There's no communication, though, and it leads to another possession for Cornell.
Find Marshall inside, but it was blocked from behind by Destiny Nunley. LeDuc shot no. Tumala had it knocked out of her hand. And Knox races out to some clean air. Under a minute to play. For 3, it's LeDuc. Air ball. And last touch by Cornell. Knox couldn't get the offensive rebound underneath. Harvard will take a timeout as they will finally have possession with 42.8 left on the clock.
Well, you have to give the Crimson a lot of credit. They were not able to get a rebound, but not breaking defensively. Good job, stop after stop, and now they will finally go back on the offensive possession with 42 seconds. And Shilpa Tumala will try to do some more of that down the stretch here to kind of take this lead and put it away for the Crimson. Right now, just a 1-possession game, but Harvard can take a little time off the clock here. Obviously, don't expect the Big Red to foul with the 1-possession game. At least not right away. See what happens.
Harvard still has a couple timeouts. Cornell has called all 4 of theirs. Harvard will be able to advance the ball. This is new this year in women's basketball. They can advance the ball past half court. Cornell with plenty of fouls to give, and they'll use one of them there. LeDuc, so now they have one more to give as LeDuc is whistled for her 3rd.
I should have clarified when I was talking about the fouls. Obviously, they will get out or get rid of the fouls they have to give. This way, if they do need to foul, it'll be a quick foul and send them to the line scenario. So they will probably foul immediately again here.
And he gets Skinner, so now they're up to 4 team fouls. Second against Knox. And they will foul Tumala. Looked like Knox was maybe trying to avoid it for a few seconds. Try and force a backcourt violation maybe, but it'll put Tumala at the free throw line. And that's Harvard's best free throw shooter at 82%.
That's your best free throw shooter, and that's your closer, the one you've gone to time after time down the stretch this year to close out games. 14 points for her tonight. And of course, 82%. Talking about how good she is. She misses the first here. The second one's very important. This is the one that makes it a 2-possession game. If not, it'll still be a 3-point game.
She's got 15 points now. Cornell's the second best 3-point shooting team in the Ivy League. Down by 4. 30 seconds left. Shellquist from way outside. In and out off the glass. Offensive rebound, Moran. Shot clock now off. Moran bounces back for Marshall. Too strong on the jumper. Rebound, Metoyer. She's fouled. And now Harvard has the victory within grasp.
Well, that was a three pulled from way downtown that almost went off the glass. It almost rattled in. So a nice break there for the Crimson as they were able to get the rebound. And Metoyer will go back to the line here. Two very important free throws, obviously. At this point, they're all very important. See what she's done tonight so far.
One of three Crimson players in double figures.
It's her first point, not via the three-pointer.
She's got 14, Tumala with 15, and Healy with 13 to lead the way. So a 6-point lead for Harvard. LeDuc just pulls up in the lane. She's got it with 11 ticks left. Cornell not fouling. And now the call will be given. It will go against Marshall, though, and she'll be out of the game. Put Healy at the line to close the game out.
Yeah, a lot of time taken off that clock there before the foul finally committed. So Anne-Marie Healy will go back to the line here and try and nail a couple more free throws. She's hit 5 of the 6 she's taken so far tonight. Took Healy a while to get going in this one. Finally started to find her stride. That's in the second half. She was in foul trouble in that first half.
Saw a little smirk there as she was getting ready for that next free throw. Heave at the buzzer from LeDuc, no good. And Harvard comes away with a 68-63 victory. They were behind for much of that first half, but a strong second half for the Crimson, and they are now on a season-best 4-game win streak.
Yeah, they didn't start shooting well from the field in this one, but eventually got their grasp on their offense and were able to start finding some shots falling. Obviously, they did a great job from downtown. You hit 11 threes in any game. That's always a plus, especially when you do it at the clip they were able to do it at today, hitting 11 of 29. A lot of players did a great job today. They were out-rebounded, but in the end, the only thing that matters is they were able to pick up the W, and it looks like Erica Lanty's going to catch up with Kit Metoyer on this win on the sidelines.
14 points for Kit Metoyer, and she's standing by with Erica Lanty.
We're with Kit Metoyer after a big Harvard win. 2 tough games against Cornell this year. How'd you guys pull this out?
I think experience and grit. We're a very gritty team. We kind of know that it's a 40-minute game, and if we stick together for 40 minutes through the runs and everything, we'll be just fine. We really believe in each other, so it's hard. I mean, it's really easy to play with a team where there's so much belief and confidence that we'll get the job done. And Kathy trusts us in moments. We work on it a lot in practice and bring it to the games.
You guys had such a balanced attack today. 6 girls with 2 or more assists, 5 girls with 7 or more points. Where does that come from, being so balanced and so unselfish?
Just confidence in each other. We know that any given night, one player can take over and be big for us, and it's been a different person every night. It's been Destiny, it's been Emery, it's been Shilpa. Just believing in your teammates, knowing that somebody's going to step up makes it really easy to share the ball in crucial times.
I'm sure playing in front of this crowd is a nice boost too.
Oh, absolutely. We love the fans. Anytime they come out, we try to give them a show. They're very, very supportive, and we love it. The pink shirts are a great incentive to get people over here, and we're really happy that people showed out.
Congrats on the win. Thanks so much for the time. Kit Metoyer after a big Harvard win. Nick?
Thanks, Eric. A happy Harvard team. They've now won 4 straight. They improved to 7-3 in Ivy League play, and they get their record above 500, now 12-11 on the season. Cornell falls to an even 5-5 in Ivy League play, and 13-11 overall. Final score, Harvard 68, Cornell 63. For my partner, John Avino, Nick Cope saying so long from Levites Pavilion, where Harvard earns the 5-point victory over the Big Red.